In front of me, I've got 10 things. 5 complete rubbish things that I've never used. 5 complete awesome things that I totally rate and recommend. Let's talk through them. Without doubt, the worst thing I've ever bought. Cheap, nasty gun mounts that cost 20, 30 quid. I wouldn't put them on an air rifle. I don't really get why these things ever sell. If you go over to the continent, it's a really big deal, spending money on decent mounts. Over here, for some reason, people don't want to spend 30, 40 quid. You can get a perfectly decent set of mounts for, I don't know, 60 to 100 pounds all day long. I will spend more if I need to. I love tally mounts. There's lots of good mount companies out there. More is more when you spend money on mounts. If they're cheap for a reason. They will probably damage your scope in terms of at least the finish, if not actually crimp your tube. A decent set of mounts are made to right specifications. They go around your scope properly. They tighten up properly. They don't move when you're shooting and ruin your shot or waste your ammo or any of those things. So spend good money on mounts. Throw those in the bin. They're fine if you're attaching like a lamp or something, but you know, that's the only reason you use them. Don't use cheap scope mounts on scopes. Bolt holsters. Well, I reckon I've got about 5 of these, and I don't know why. I think I get given them or buy them feeling like I should buy one, or maybe I bought too many when I got told doing my DSC1 that I desperately needed one. Never use it. It goes in my pocket, or it goes in the pocket of my gun bag, and that's it, or it's in my rifle. I don't know if these have got a practical purpose other than something else to have on your belt and get in the way. They're just not for me. I don't really recommend them. Something really useful. Lens cloths are great, but they do just get ingress to crap. I've got some car keys somewhere with a lens cloth. Eventually, and I mean after about 3 uses, if you're any sort of stalker, they just get covered in grit, and then you just rub them over your scope and scratch it up with your binos. I love a lens pen. They're really not very popular, a lot of people ask, but when you've got a lot of crap on your scope, you can just flick it out. If you're confident they're clean, you can blow on them. I don't do it dry and then polish them up a bit, but certainly for brushing the worst of the crap off, a lens pen with a brush is a great bit of kit. Don't use your t-shirt. You just rubbing, grind into it. Yes, I know you're all doing it and probably everyone's done it for ages, but it's not ideal. And if you value your glass, get one of those. Face veils. Pigeon shooting, I'm sure they're great if you don't just want to use a snood or a cap. Johnny's shaking his head. No, they're I don't know. They're kind of a little bit sinister and funny. I always enjoy seeing people in them. Apologies if you use one. And they stink. They're just full of bad breath and not very nice. They're a pain in the bum to wash. So yeah, I just wouldn't recommend you get one of those unless, I don't know, you're into ghillie suits and whatever. Your call, your choice. If you've got your own grounds, or even if you haven't, for high building, for just getting that irritating branch out of the way, I don't necessarily recommend doing it at the start of a stalking session in a seat or whatever, but actually when you've got something that is just so in the way, I don't think you should carry one of these around with you, but just as having it in your kit when you go, if you do need to lop a branch, something you can leave in the car. Pretty innocuous, harmless bit of kit. So useful if you just need to get that thick branch and you get through surprisingly thick limbs. I always buy one of these when I see these on sale because I do regularly break them. They're not very expensive. Great bit of kit. What do I say about this glove? I loved the idea of this when I saw it. So I don't know if you ever sat in a high seat cold. You quickly find your hands are cold regardless of what glove, unless you've got this enormous mitt here. And it had this pocket on the front, you could put your hand in it. Well, I said, oh, what an amazing idea. Keep my hand warm when I need to check my phone or, take my safety off or do something there. I can take my little slim gloved hand out. Again, this thing must be about 20 years old. I don't think I've ever used it. I think I've lent it out once or twice to someone who's forgot their gloves and they've given it various nicknames. So anyone who's been out stalking with me will be familiar with the nickname of this glove. But I'm not going there. Yeah, anyway. Something good. A canvas spray, suitable for guns. Don't use WD-40 or anything else that might damage your stock or your finish or your gun, whatever. This is a great brand of product. There's lots of great brands of cleaning product out there. Something that's a gun cleaner and ideally offers some sort of care, whatever you're using it for. These guys do I think this is a gun cleaner, they do a care spray as well. Just something to give your gun an oil if you abused it, if you're going out and you just want to give it a wipe over, if you're away hunting. They last forever. Like, I'm pretty sure I've had the same can for about 10 years. Unanimously, one of these with a microfiber cloth. Job done. Something pointless. You can probably tell by the relatively reasonable condition of this gun sock that I just never use them. They're just kind of in the way. You probably do more damage trying to get your gun out of these things than you do bashing them against each other if you're careful. Some people love them. You know, it's quite a good selling product, to be fair.
They're a shotgun thing.
It's a shotgun thing. Shotguns certainly going a lot easier, but when you look at people who've ripped their beads off and done whatever with shotguns, I'm always kind of like, why just spray it down with oil and wipe it off and put it in your safe and don't bash it into itself, just get a bigger safe. I don't know. If you've got to store a lot of guns together, I guess it kind of makes sense, but for me, that's one of the worst things I've ever bought. Last on my list of good things. Not everyone will agree with this because ball snakes are a bit of a bone of contention. This is a posh one from a company called Real Avid. I like this one because it's got a semi-rigid wire, which if you have a stalking client who's managed to plug their barrel with mud or some such, you can just about get that down and push a light amount of mud out. Not that I'm suggesting that's what it's for, but it's helpful to have something. You're not really carrying around a set of rods with you. A cursory clean of your rifle or your shotgun is nice with something that is just easy. If it's a case if you're away, you don't want to leave your rifle with a load of unburnt powder or burnt powder down it or crud or whatever you've managed to get down it. So if you've got something that can just take the worst out of the bore, so you can get it and give it a proper clean, if indeed you clean your rifle, then that's really a nice, easy thing to carry. It can live in your gun bag, it can live in your car. You can use it as and when you need to, or forget about it until this is probably 15 years old. Put them in a pillowcase and wash them if you want to use them again. Don't just chuck them in, obviously, but you can wash and reuse these things. Nice bit of kit, easy. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found that entertaining, whether or not you've agreed. Please in the comments leave what the worst and the best things you've ever bought are. There are some other contenders. I've seen all sorts of wacky products out there, and I've seen some really good stuff, so please share.